Well, it's interesting times in the market. I think the established players are scared and worried, whereas the new entrants are very excited. We've seen this huge amount of challenger banks coming in as the technology price lowers. It allows them to punch above the weight and really take on some of the bigger guys. And I see that trend continuing over the next sort of 18 months or 2 years as more and more challenger banks come in, especially from the emerging markets. We've seen from Asia lots of new fintech companies coming out of there, which are very exciting, very interesting. We've seen Alibaba coming into the Europe market, and we also see disintermediation of some of the bigger players. So now it's interesting that you can load your account with WeChat in China, come over to London, and you can go to Harrods and buy stuff and great things from Harrods without actually going through the MasterCard and Visa rails. So there's a huge disruption going on in the whole value chain market, which is interesting. Also, on top of that, we've got some big changes in regulation. We know in Europe, PSD2, the Payments Directive, is opening up the whole data play. So banks will be forced to give their data to new incumbents, and so there'll be a lot of aggregators coming out to take on the bigger guys. And again, that will change the face of banking. So I think all these things are really a whole melting pot of disruption that will continue and that will change the face of financial services in the next 3 to 5 years. This is not something that's happening in 10, 20 years. This will be happening now. Well, PCT sits at the heart of disruption. 3 years ago, we took the view that we needed to change the way banking was serviced, and we built a new banking system in the cloud with new technology. That was quite high risk back then because most people thought the public network in the cloud wasn't secure enough. Banks were very reticent to take it on board. But as we've seen now in the last 18 months and the next few years, suddenly banks are really embracing the cloud. So we brought a banking platform to the market in 2014-15. We launched that with our new challenger bank called the Change Account. That was to underbanked, underserved people. And we rolled that out to 70 credit unions, and it's been very successful. It's a functionally rich digital bank based on the cloud. Off the back of that, we then sold this banking system to the Irish Post Office, An Post, which is a tier 1 bank. And they've embraced the cloud technology again. They've rolled it out to over 1,000 branches in Ireland, offering loyalty and innovative products, etc. And that's been a huge success as well. So we've really proven both in a sort of a financially inclusive way and in a tier 1 bank way that the cloud and new digital banking systems are proven and do work. So it's really exciting for us, and we sit at the heart of disruption now in the whole banking arena. And there's a key few messages that come out of that. Why is that possible? What's the difference? Well, if you take a small banking system, it will cost 10 to 20 million. It will take 2 to 3 years to get in, and you're exhausted at the end of it. And also, it costs you probably circa £130 an account to run, which is hugely expensive and a huge barrier to the market. What we've done is we've brought that whole cost down. We can launch a new banking system within 6 to 9 months. It will cost circa £500,000, and we can run it at a fraction of the cost, probably £20 on account per year. Suddenly that opens up the whole market. It's not just large banks that can afford this. It's mobile operators, it's retailers. People with a smaller database, maybe of 15,000 clients, can suddenly launch full banking systems. And this is not a poor relation. This is a full digital banking system with faster payments, in and out, SEPA payments, etc. So it's a smart bank account for smart people. So this has really changed the face of banking. I'm proud that PCT has been a part of that. We have a fantastic partnership with Unisys. We've worked with Unisys now for over 2 years, looking at the strategy and the options. Unisys have got a fantastic brand and huge depth with their clients. We've got the digital assets, so it's a great, powerful combination. So what Unisys have done, they've taken our digital banking platform, put it together with their mortgage and savings platform, put a new transaction layer over the top, and called it Elevate, and pushed that out to the market in March. It's been a fantastic launch. It's been a great success. And already we had 326 leads from Taiwan to Brazil, in Europe and in the UK. So it's a real fantastic opportunity for us and Unisys, and a great combination of large corporates and smaller fintechs. And I think that will be a powerful model going forward in the future. The cloud is very powerful, and as we've seen over the last few years, the security in the cloud now is not the issue it was. I don't think it ever was an issue, but I think people perception-wise were a bit reticent to embrace it. But the cloud offers many advantages, and the mainstream banks now are seeing that. It offers you globalization at speed, so rather than having lots of data centers costing millions and taking years to build, you can now have one data center in the cloud and really launch products very quickly, much quicker than you could in the past. But one of the real strengths of the cloud is the capacity. In the past, if you wanted to go from 100,000 customers to 1 million, this was a huge workout, huge investment. We literally can do it within 15 to 20 minutes. You just turn the dial in cloud and suddenly you've got much bigger capacity and you can take it on. This has really allowed us to take on the larger banks and really change the technology of banking, full stop. So huge advantages of the cloud, and that will continue. I think but it's all about embracing the cloud. I think if you just use bits of it, I don't think it's as powerful. At PCT, we've embraced it wholeheartedly, and it's been a fantastic success for us. Financial inclusion is still a big issue, and we know it's a huge agenda for Visa and MasterCard. There's still billions of people that are underbanked or non-banked. The cloud can really help that, not just on its own, but coupled with digital banking systems like PCTs. We can bring the whole cost of banking down and improve the functionality. And that combination of low cost and higher functionality means that we can provide banking systems for the non-banked and underbanked at a price they can afford, and they can access that. So it's important really to think that this is not a poor account or a poor banking system for poor people. With the new functionality of the cloud and digital banking, this can be a very functionally rich product as tier one banks offer. So this will be a smart account for smart people. And that way we can really include the world's population that's currently unbanked. So there's going to be a big trend in the next 18 months, 2 years, where the whole price barrier is coming down, and people that couldn't get access in the past will be able to in the future.